Welcome to today's show. My name is Jesse Malin, and I help you make your best relationship. So in learning and growing up, learning communication, you've probably noticed that other people do things differently than you, right? No duh, that's probably really plain, but have you noticed that other people sometimes think differently than you? They process things, they reason different than how you reason, process, and think, right? And that is why we have different personalities. And studying psychology, studying at the university or studying scientific groups or companies, there seems to be a common trend of classifying people in 4 categories of personalities. Now, sometimes you have more, sometimes you have less, but the common trend seems to be 4. And a group that I really, really like is called People Keys Incorporated, and they classify people in these 4 categories. And they've created an acronym. The acronym is DISC, D-I-S-C, DISC. And learning personalities is one of the most important tools you can learn in your life to better your relationship. So, if you'll allow me, let's get into what each of the 4 personality types are about. We'll first start with D. D stands for direct, decisive. They're drivers. D-type people, there's only about 3% of the population falls under this D-type category, and they are they're very demanding, they're very direct, and they are go-getters. They want things, they want their goals, and they want them now. They want tangible results, and they want them now, and they don't necessarily care how they get there. They are more task-oriented. They like tasks over people. They will have the end goal serve them over people, so they don't mind sometimes stepping on people to get to their end result because they're very direct and driving. A common, or the way that they like to communicate is in a straightforward, direct type of way. They don't really care for the fluff and huff of how are you doing today? Oh, the weather's nice today. That type of chit chat is a waste of time to them. And if you're going to talk to them that way, they're going to, essentially have a lesser opinion of you. And no, you're not supposed to worry about what other people think, but knowing and becoming aware of this will be so conducive to helping you create that communicative environment with them. And D's are very aggressive. They want to win. They will win in their relationship. They will win in work and in money. And if they're having fun, if you're just playing a little game, they will tooth and nail to the death. They are going to win. They love winning. They're very aggressive. They measure other people by how aggressive they are to challenges. And if you're not very aggressive and you don't really like challenges so much, one way you can level up your communication with them is by being direct, being straightforward. Don't beat around the bush. Tell them how it is. They will be so appreciative of that. That will actually create a better communicative environment for them and for yourself. And one way that you can show them love, if you are a D-type or your spouse has a lot of this personality as their dominant personality, one way you can show them love is to set them free. Now, not necessarily like you're not caging them. They won't allow that, but being okay with them doing what they want to do, and not nagging them, not being remorseful over that. Just be supportive. Be okay with that. Go along with it, and that will mean a lot to them. They don't want routine. They want challenges. They want new experiences, and that's important to them. And if you want to show your love to them, go on a date and do challenging activities with them. Go have fun. Do sports. Do like racing. Those type of things. Go get the go-kart and go racing. That's going to be fun for them. That's going to be challenging for them. They are going to have a blast. And that will be so important for them. Now, moving on to I's. I stands for influencing and inspiring. Now, I's are a lot like the D-types where they are very active. They very much want the end result. They are very excited people, but the big differences between the D's and the I's is I's like people over tasks. I's care about people. I's crave the spotlight. They love people. They want to influence people. They want to lead people. And that is very important to them. And because they like people so much, compliments are very important for them. They are always seeking validation, acceptance, love and compliments, those type of things. That's important to the I's. Now, as an I, it is important. We've talked about shadow work before. It is important to be rooted in yourself. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't depend on someone else's opinion so much as you depend on your own opinion. That will be an important aspect for you to remember if you or your spouse is a high I type. Now, there's only about 11% of the population that falls under the category of the influencing, inspiring, excited type. That's and they are excited. They are people lovers. They love people. One way they measure people is by how they influence or persuade other people. That's important to them. What is your motive for doing what you do? And that's how they're going to measure you. And a great way to communicate with the I's is through persuasion and through being verbal. I's are very verbal. In a relationship, they want to be heard. They want to know their opinion matters. And if something's wrong, they are going to let you know something is wrong. They're not going to beat around the bush. They're going to let you know something is bothering them. And this is important. And if you are an I type or your spouse is an I type, it is important when you get in a disagreement to talk about it. That is going to be so huge for you. If you don't talk about it and you just say, I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to talk to you type deal, and you push them away, they are going to smolder but get hotter. They're not going to die out like an ember will. They are going to get hotter and hotter, and it's going to distress them and cause them such problems. But to build that love and unity in your relationship, talk about the disagreement. Talk about the issue. Be forward with it. Communicate, because they are very verbal. And if you want to show love to I-type people, then set them free. They don't want routine either, just like the D's don't. They want to have new experiences. Go on a date and go on a date with another couple and have fun as a group. And when you're on the date, compliment them, put the spotlight on them, kind of brag them up if you will, appropriately. Don't overdo it, but do it enough, and that is going to mean so much to them. And then after your double date's done or your group date's done, be sure to spend some quality time with them. Maybe go out, get a cheesecake or something, just the two of you, because that's going to be important. Spending that quality time, that one-on-one time together is so important to them. And that will make all the difference in your relationship. Now on to the S types. S stands for stable, steady. Most of the population falls under this category. This is about 69% of the population has this personality as their dominant type. And here's why. You're going to see why. S's, because they're so stable and steady, they crave security. And because they crave security, they will be loyal to an organization, to a relationship, to a business, whatever it is they're loyal to, they're committed to, they will be committed, loyal to a fault. If enough of their needs are being met, they are going to stay. So they could be in a semi-abusive relationship, but if enough of their needs are being met, they're going to stay in that relationship. If their work life is horrible, but they're familiar with it, the ins and outs, it's comfortable enough, they're going to stick it out because they crave security. They want that stable, steady life. And because they're stable, steady, they're very predictable. This is an aspect of the S's. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There's a lot of good from being stable. A lot of relationships are saved because people are willing to stick it out and work it out and improve. And that is an important aspect in your relationship. Now, S's, they measure other people by how well or how they want to keep things the same. They measure people by how loyal they are. So that becomes an important thing for them. In terms or matters of communication, they're very diplomatic and patient. That's important for them. And because they're patient and diplomatic, and because they're caring, they go out of their way to help other people. They are like your heroes, if you will, per se. They want to go out of their way to help other people feel stable, help other people feel secure, and they're loyal to that. That's what they do. That's what gets them excited, if you will. Now, some cons per se, they don't want to be hurried. Now, yes, they want to do their task and they want to start it and finish it before they start another task. And so hurrying them or taking them from one task to another is very troubling for them. That is not conducive to having that stable lifestyle. As well as being stable and steady, S-types crave comfort. So if you want to show love to people that have this as their primary personality, make the house comfortable. Make it comfortable. Maybe before you go to bed at night, maybe you get the TV room ready for a movie that you want to watch. You get the pillows out, the blankets out. Maybe you make some hot chocolate. Maybe you get them some fuzzy socks. I don't know what they're called, but you get the idea. It's cozy. They're very cozy, and that is important for them. They crave security, coziness, stability. That's important for them. That will make all the difference for you and them in your relationship. Now on to the last, and that is the C type. C stands for compliant and correct. Think engineers, very routine, very systematic. They're systematic in their day. They're systematic in their thoughts, their thinking processes. They like to get up at a certain time, and particularly the same time every day, and they like to go through the same routine in the morning. They like to go to the same job where they do the same thing at the job, then come home and do the same things in the evenings. Now, that doesn't mean they don't like some changes, but realistically, they crave routine. They crave systems. That is what gets them excited. And because they do, and because they are very accurate, they crave following the rules. That means so much to them. In fact, they measure other people by how well they are willing to follow the rules. and that's a big deal to them. And they are almost like if there is a specific way that this task should be done, they are going to do it that specific way the best out of everyone. They will outperform anyone at doing the exact thing you tell them to do. And so that's very important to them. They're very accurate. Their communication style is that of being conscientious and accurate. So, if you're going to talk to someone like this, come prepared with the facts. Don't just be like wishy-washy type stuff. Not wishful, just don't be wishy-washy. They are kind of like the D's, where they like tasks over people. They like working by themselves. They're very efficient, very effective. And people just kind of slow them down or mess up the project, things like that. So they prefer that stuff. They want the facts, they want the accuracy, and that's what they crave. So if you're not very accurate, if you're like an I-type like me and you're just crazy and doing fun things and always trying to just be out of the norm, that drives them nuts. Be aware of that. Learn their personality style and maybe adapt. Don't be inauthentic. Be genuine. But learn that these people, that they crave being accurate. They crave following the rules. That's important to them. And so help respect that. Help create that environment where they can feel like that's okay and that's comfortable for them. Now, if you're going to show them love, it is important that you don't do surprises. So if you're going on a date, don't just be spontaneous about it. Spontaneity is interpreted in their mind as being unimportant. So if you just do spontaneous stuff, indirectly, you are telling them that they're unimportant in their mind. And that's a real deal for them. So to show them love, first plan the date and execute everything. Have the meal paid for, have the tickets bought so you can see the show, and tell them about that. One, you're gonna get bonus points because one, you're considering them. That's amazing. You're considering them, and they won't even know you're considering them unless, of course, you're both aware. And then two, it will amaze them that you went through and planned and got things set up for them. Like mega brownie points here, because you considered them and you planned it out and it worked out well. And they're aware of these things because accuracy is what they're worried about. Now, if as far as the home life, keep the house clean. Make sure that that's systematized. Don't let them come home to a chaotic home if they're going off to work and you stay at home. Maybe help keep the house clean, and they can help keep it clean too. But keep it clean for them. That's going to be so important for them. If you're home and they go to work and they come back, maybe have dinner ready at the same time every night. Maybe have, kind of a routine evening built up that they're used to and that they enjoy throughout the week. That's going to be helpful for them. Now, say the spouse that stays at home, she's a C-type or he's a C-type, whoever's staying at home, and you're the spouse that goes out. Well, come home at the same time every day. Just set up that routine. That is going to help strengthen your relationship with each other. And that is going to be so important in building up your relationship. Because if you are feeding each other the way you need to be fed, you are going to be more fulfilled. You are going to find more meaning in life and in each other. as spouses, as partners, because you're feeding each other the way you need to be fed. And that is so important. Now, to end this video, I hope this video has been helpful to kind of introduce you to the 4 categories of personality types. I wanted to say real quick, you are not just one type. You are not just, now maybe you are, but most people are a collective of the types. Most people are maybe really dominant in 1 or 2 types, and so they're kind of a mold or a mesh between the 2 types. And then sometimes the other 2 types, they'll come out in different settings. Just like people are sometimes different in public as they are at home. We exude different behaviors based upon our personalities, based on our environment. And that's an important thing to understand. But if you would like more information about this, I'm going to have a couple links down in the description below. One will be a link to an article about a couple who they struggled because they didn't understand each other's personalities, the mistakes they made, but then they learned about these personalities and then certain things they did to start feeding each other according to the ways they need to be fed. Just for some in-depth examples there. I'll have that linked down below. As well as, if you are interested, we offer an amazing guide. It's free, but it's an amazing guide to effective couples communication, and it's based off of this personality understanding of the DISC personality system. And I'll have a link for that too. If you go and you download that, take some time and read it. It's not long, but it is jam-packed with valuable information that will change your relationship for the better if you utilize it. And lastly, if you would like to take your own DISC assessment, I'll have a link for that down in the description. You can take that, and when you do take that, you will get a 17-page report that will show your strengths, it will show your weaknesses, your fears, help you become aware of that. And if you and your spouse take that, or you and your partner take that, then you can help each other become aware of those fears, those weaknesses, and help communicate better with each other. And ultimately, what's the coolest part is when you learn about yourself, this 17-page report is going to teach you how to specifically communicate best with the other personality types. And so when you know your personality type, your partner knows their personality type, that is going to be so valuable for you to learn how to communicate effectively. It will give you specific things. It is tailor-made. It is the most accurate personality assessment I have ever seen or ever taken. And I've taken quite a few, but this one has been the most accurate, and that's why it gives you a 17-page report. There's a lot to report because it's that accurate. And with that, I hope you make your best relationship. And if you don't mind, would you like this? Share it on your social media. Subscribe. Tell your friends about this. And with that, I bid you adieu. All right. Much love.